Hey guys, James here with Computer Tech Reviews. Today I have PC versus Xbox One battle going on. And I'm going to tell you guys what is different about both the console and the PC. I'm going to tell you which one's better, which one you should choose, which one you should buy. One thing I'm going to get out of the way first. People say they don't buy PCs because they are way too expensive. That's not true. The PC I'm using only costs about $500 and it's running things absolutely perfect. So this first picture that's going to pop up is just going to be Xbox One is on the left, PC is on the right. It's Need for Speed Rivals, and it shows different quality of the video or of the in-game gameplay. So you can see the Xbox One colors are not as good as the PC colors. If you have PC and an Xbox One, I would recommend getting Need for Speed Rivals on the PC. If you already have it on the Xbox One, it runs fine. I've played it plenty, but I would not recommend buying an Xbox One just because you want to play this game. Alright guys, so the next step in the process of choosing between a PC and Xbox One is gameplay. So you're going to need a decent graphics card to play good games at decent settings. So I'm going to go through some ideas and some things that I've learned throughout my research process on PC and Xbox One gaming. I know I'm not really talking about the PS4, but if you want to get a console to play games, I would go with the PS4, not the Xbox One. That's just a personal preference. Because I've been having some problems with Xbox One, which I will go into further in this video. But to start off now, we're going to be talking about graphics cards. The Xbox One has a graphics card similar to the Radeon HD 7770, which is a decent card, but I know there's better cards out there than that. I believe Microsoft could have done something better to enhance the gaming abilities on the Xbox One. I feel like they could have gotten rid of the Kinect bundle and done something to enhance the GPU instead, because not a lot of people have been using the Kinect. I know I don't use mine. I've had too many problems with it. It never really works. Voice commands are not accurate, and it closes stuff out when I don't even say anything close to what it's supposed to be saying. So for the Xbox One, I mean, you can run games that they give you. They're not like they say they would have been in E3 of 2013. It's not anywhere close to what a PC can handle. The Xbox One, the new game Watch Dogs that just recently came out, it was said to be ran at 1080p. It can only be ran at 720p, which is, I say, not good at all compared to a PC, and was a bad choice by Microsoft to tell people and show people gameplay of it in 1080p when it's not even close to being what it's supposed to be. Alright, so the picture I just put up for you guys now is the EVGA GTX 750 Ti. Now, if you're building a gaming computer and you want it to be around the budget of a console, so you're not spending way too much money, then I say this is a great card for you to go with, because it can run games way better than a console can, and it can run more games at higher frames and better quality than a console can. So now, if you were to compare this to the graphics card in the Xbox One, you would get better performance, better frame rates. So overall, gaming with a PC would be an overall better choice, because you'd be able to choose your graphics card off of personal preference. Now, if you're going to be going hardcore and you don't want this, you might want to go with like GTX like 780 or something like that. So you can get a little more performance out of the card, and so your computer will be able to run at acceptable frame rates to your personal preferences. Now, if you don't want to get into hardcore gaming and you want to stick to something around the Xbox One, I would still recommend getting the PC over the Xbox One because you can still do way more things with this instead. So if you wanted to get something like the Radeon R9 270X, that's an exceptional card. I actually believe it is a little more expensive than the GeForce GTX 750 Ti. I would recommend the R9 270X and the GTX 750 Ti in just about any PC build, because you can sacrifice other things and get a better graphics card rather than going out to the store, buying a console, and you're stuck with what they give you and you can't upgrade at all. Alright guys, so the next part of the console war would be hard drive and capacities. So the Xbox One, as most of you should know, comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive. So that's a decent amount of space, I guess you could say, but it is not enough for most gamers. Now my Xbox One, I have used just about over 3/4 of my hard drive already. I say that Microsoft forcing people or forcing us Xbox One users to install all of our games onto the hard drive was a bad decision, because that's just wasting all of our space for gameplays and whatnot. So now going over to the PC side, again, PC, this is completely customizable, up to you. Most people have hard drives in their computers, but they get way more capacity. You can go up to, I think a good place to stop is up to 4 terabytes, because there's a pretty good chance that the hard drive could fail, but if you have another hard drive, you always have something to back yourself up with. But another thing that most people are going with now, though, are SSDs. SSDs are faster. Most gamers use them to boot their operating system and power-hungry applications like Adobe, and then different different editing softwares and other things like that. So SSDs can get a bit pricey. You can get a 250 gig internal SSD for about $155. It is a Samsung 840 EVO. I've looked at some reviews on this SSD. It is pretty darn good. You can always just go down, if you're just going to be running your OS and some applications on it, you can always go down to a 120 gig SSD, which would run you about $85, I think. Yeah, it should be about $85. But what I would recommend doing with a computer, if you have the extra money, I would say you could get a 2 terabyte hard drive. Make sure it's 7200 RPMs or higher. I don't know if they go any higher. I would recommend the Western Digital Caviar Blue 2 terabyte hard drives. And then I would recommend going with the Samsung 840 EVO 120 gig SSD. You could put your OS on there, put your applications on the SSD as well, and then you'll be able to run your games off of your hard drive. So your things will be separated and will be able to run much easier than they would on a Xbox One. Alright guys, so the last part of the PC console war is going to be the processor, which is the main, the brains. It's basically the brains of your PC or your console. They both work the same, except there are some differences between the ones used in consoles and in PCs. So in the Xbox One, the CPU, it's an 8-core, which is really good, but it is only 1.75 gigahertz CPU. So that means each core is running at 1.75 gigahertz, but you're sacrificing the clock speed because your Microsoft, since they added the Kinect's taking most of the processing units and using that to run itself. pretty much. So the processor in the Xbox One is not fast compared to a PC. So going to the PC side of things, again, PC CPU is totally customizable. The CPU shown in the picture is the FX 4300. This is a very good CPU. It is this is only 4 cores, but you don't have a Kinect hooked up to your PC, so you're not needing all the other cores to run the Kinect. But this is I believe it's either 3.6 or it's a 3.8 gigahertz quad-core processor. So this will help run your games and help run your power-hungry applications easier. And one last thing I need to add before the end is RAM. Xbox One I know has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. RAM's up to you again on console. So do what you feel is right for your console. If you're going to be gaming a lot, I'd probably stick with around 8 gigabytes. If you're going to be doing a lot of gaming and editing, I do 16 gigabytes plus. So again, this is a decision completely up to you on the PC side of things. PC obviously wins this because you have customizability. On PC, you don't really have to worry about the bugs that come with the console. I mean, occasionally PCs do get bugs and glitches throughout it, but that's easily fixable because they are so upgradable.